Hello there. This tourney will feature 8 competitors, all with some kind of luck-related ability. And in some cases, a bunch of luck is needed for different abilities to activate. Who will be able to win over everyone else and become the champion? This is the tournament bracket that we will base today's tourney on, meaning that this first match will be Lobotomy, who has 4 options that each have a chance to happen every hit, against Lucky, who has chance to instantly break the plate. If it doesn't, it'll increase the chance until it happens. In this match, Lobotomy will be on the left, while Lucky will be on the right. And Lucky seems to have started with pulling ahead of Lobotomy. This may be due to Lobotomy needing some time to scale, while Lucky doesn't really have that same restriction. Nonetheless, Lucky has a 2 or 3 plate lead over Lobotomy, but if something catastrophic doesn't happen to Lobotomy, it'll get stronger than Lucky over time. And as predicted, Lobotomy has lowered the lead to a single plate. But it seems like Lucky has started to feel threatened and is using its powers to start to pull away from Lobotomy again. Lobotomy hits the 1% chance to reset before hitting the 5% chance to break a random plate once. With that blunder, it's almost certainly over for Lobotomy in this match. Lucky is down on its last plate and spends nearly no time on it before securing our first win. Meaning that Lucky is ready for its next opponent in the upper bracket, while Lobotomy is continuing its losing streak from before the tourney. Our second match will be Gambler, who can multiply its damage based on the table on the screen, against Critical, who has a chance to critically strike the plate. If the critical chance goes over 100%, he rolls for critting on the guaranteed critical strike. Gambler is on the left, while Critical is on the right in this match. Gambler is first to take the first plate, due to Critical's plate surviving at 1 hit point. Gambler hits the 1% chance to 100 times its damage, giving it 2 plates. Critical has gained its guaranteed 2 times critical strikes, meaning it'll gain damage on every hit now. Gambler has gained a bunch of damage, expanding its lead to 3 plates. It's now 2 plates against 5 in favor of Gambler. It should be unlosable for Gambler, but they are struggling to gain damage, only hitting 0.5 times and fails. Critical is taking full advantage of this and has taken the lead. And now, the win too! After somehow managing to win that, Critical has advanced in the upper bracket, facing Lucky next, while Gambler will face Lobotomy in the lower bracket. Next up is Copycat, with the ability to take another ball's ability every 10 seconds, keeping stat changes, against Dice, who multiplies its damage by the shown face if it's higher than the previous one. Otherwise, it'll divide the damage by 2. In this match, Copycat is on the left and Dice is on the right. Sadly, Copycat did not keep the cat ears that it had in the intro card. For its first ability, Copycat got Monochromic's ability, which is good for them due to the fact that it increases the body damage. And as stated previously, Copycat keeps damage and other stat changes between abilities. Dice has, however, taken a massive lead, and Healer's ability doesn't seem to be able to do much against that. Fire's ability doesn't do too much that could change this situation either. Dice is likely just going to take the win here. And they do take the win, in what is likely the most one-sided match so far. Dice has, with this, advanced in the upper bracket, while Copycat has been cast down to the lower bracket. The last match for this round is between RNG Reborn, with the ability to do all that is visible on the screen, and Burst, who has the ability to deal damage between 10 and 10 billion, with an increasing chance to actually deal that damage each hit. RNG Reborn is on the left side in this match, while Burst is on the right side. And RNG Reborn has started with creating a massive lead over Burst. RNG Reborn is already more than halfway to the goal, and the match started like 15 seconds ago. RNG Reborn's progress seems to have halted to a crawl, but with only 3 plates remaining, it shouldn't be possible for Burst to catch up. Burst takes a plate, lowering the deficit to 2 plates. But RNG Reborn takes 1 for themselves, so its lead remains at 3 plates, while only having 2 plates remaining. Last plate now. Burst takes a plate, but this is over as RNG Reborn takes the last plate and wins, sending Burst down to the lower bracket as the last competitor of the first round, where they will meet Copycat, while RNG Reborn will meet Dice in the upper bracket. Next, we'll move on to the lower bracket matches. The first match will be Lobotomy against Gambler. Lobotomy lost its first match due to having its damage reset only a few plates away from the goal, while Gambler lost its first match against Critical by choking after leading the whole match up until right before the goal. Both competitors are currently quite close, but Lobotomy broke one of its plates further down, giving it the lead, or at least a tied state. Gambler broke one of its plates, but it immediately traded for a plate by Lobotomy. But Gambler hit the 100 times, giving it a few plates lead. Lobotomy took 2 plates at once, closing the gap to Gambler by a considerable bit. Both competitors took a plate at the same time, meaning that Lobotomy somehow is at the 100 million plate, with only 100,000 damage. It's 2 plates against 1 in favor of Gambler, but Gambler's plate has much more HP. Lobotomy hits the reset at the worst time, allowing Gambler to take the win. Consequently, this means that Lobotomy will be the first one to be knocked out of the tourney, while Gambler will survive to fight another match. The second elimination match is between Copycat and Burst. Both of these competitors lost their first matches by quite a margin. Copycat struggled to gain any abilities that could help its situation, while Burst was behind its opponent all the way, and almost seemed like they were going to catch up towards the end, but didn't. Copycat's first ability this match is Sentage, which would have been way better to get further down. Not here, when the ability is at its weakest. Octahedron's ability doesn't help much either, since the base damage is just 100. This is Burst's chance to take the lead and actually win a match, which it successfully does, getting 3 plates more than Copycat. Monochromic's ability could definitely help Copycat here, since it gives a fairly good amount of damage. Or so I thought, but the highest roll on Monochromic's ability was a 30% out of 100. Burst is down to its last 2 plates, meaning that it very well could win this. Vibration's ability will at least give Copycat guaranteed damage this time, and not those low rolls that Monochromic's ability gave. Burst is, however, down to its last plate, and something drastic needs to happen for Copycat to have any semblance of a chance here. This is not the ability that Copycat wanted, since it does not help the situation at all. Burst has around 90% of its plate remaining, Healer's ability could come in very clutch here, since it counters Burst fully at this stage. But it doesn't help Copycat themselves to get closer to the goal. It only hinders Burst from getting there. Poisonous deals so little damage that it does basically nothing at this stage. Let's see how far Burst can get with this free time. And Copycat got Healer's ability again. This might become a long match, where we wait for either Burst to get through the plate by Copycat not interfering, or Copycat gets a strong ability and wins. This is just a waiting game, as Copycat rolled Healer's ability again. Am I seeing this wrong, or has Copycat rolled Healer's ability for the third time in a row? They know how to stall for time at least. Let's see if this is all then for naught or not. Monochromic's ability will help, but the rolls need to be higher than last time. Which they seem to be, but not by a whole lot. Finally, Copycat got a strong ability in Phoebo's ability. But the match has gone on for so long that the damage has done a long overflow and is healing the plates in some instances. Copycat has somehow managed to win that by fighting for its life the best it could. This means that despite having that long fight for its life, Burst was unsuccessful in winning a single match and is out of the tourney, while Copycat managed to advance to the next round. The next round of matches that we will see is the upper semi-final, where our first match is Lucky versus Critical, both of whom won their previous matches due to the opponents choking at the finish line. In this match, Lucky is on the left side, while Critical is on the right side. Lucky doesn't get stronger over time, while Critical definitely does, due to its damage increase being dependent on its critical strikes. And as expected, Lucky has taken a bit of an early lead. Lucky takes a plate, but it is immediately traded by Critical. This time, Critical takes a plate that's immediately traded by Lucky. But with this one, Critical is on the same plate as Lucky, but Lucky fires back and extends its lead again. This time, Critical goes untraded and takes the lead over Lucky for the first time this match. The situation seems flipped from just a little bit ago, with Critical firmly having the advantage as we near the goal. Critical will keep its winning streak, taking the first spot in the upper final, while Lucky will get knocked down to the lower bracket, where they will have to face Copycat, which should be an easy match based on Copycat's previous performances in the tourney, with one of the matches being almost 4 minutes long. Our other match in this round is Dice against RNG Reborn, who both won their respective matches quite convincingly. Dice is on the left side, while RNG Reborn is on the right side. And RNG Reborn has created a massive lead already, but they did struggle somewhat on the last few plates in the previous match. And even here, they seem to have slowed down a bunch. But they are more than halfway to the goal, with a 4-plate lead over Dice, so this should be unlosable for them. 3 plates. 2 plates, but it is immediately traded by RNG Reborn. There's only a single plate between them now. RNG Reborn is trying its best to keep it at 2 plates, but it doesn't seem to work. Both are now on the same plate, but RNG Reborn struggled with these last 2 plates in their previous match. And same seems to be true here, as Dice has taken both the lead and the win away from them. making Dice our second contestant to make it to the upper final, where they will meet Critical, while RNG Reborn will meet Gambler in the lower bracket, which also happens to be the match that is up next. This match is RNG Reborn against Gambler. RNG Reborn seems to spurt away in the beginning of every match, but struggles to close out the matches, which was especially apparent in the previous match, where they had a 4 or 5 plate lead and lost. Even in this match, RNG Reborn has taken a massive lead. Let's see if they manage to hold it, or if they choke the same way as in their previous match. Gambler doesn't seem to put up any fight, only having 1,000 damage or less this far into the match. RNG Reborn is on to their last plate, while Gambler still has 6 plates remaining. This should be unlosable for RNG Reborn, but that is what I said in the previous match too. Gambler has taken a bunch of plates in rapid succession. This is getting a little bit scary for RNG Reborn, but they close out the match before anything major happens, consequently knocking Gambler out of the tourney, while they themselves advance to the lower semifinal, where they will meet either Lucky or Copycat. Let's see who it'll be in this next match between Lucky and Copycat. For this match, Lucky is on the left, and Copycat is on the right. Copycat will need some time to get its first ability, while Lucky gets some time to create a lead. Those healer stall tactics that Copycat pulled in its last match won't work here, as Lucky is immune to healer's ability. Let's see if they can come up with a tactic that beats Lucky, or if they fall immediately after that long-fought match in the previous round. Expo's ability could definitely work to take the win here. This tactic was used much earlier in this match, possibly because they adapted after that previous match. Nevertheless, it has leveled the playing field. Chalk's ability should be pretty strong in this situation too, but Lucky instantly breaks the last plate and takes the win, meaning that Copycat's struggle in the match against Burst was all for naught, as it now too is knocked out, while Lucky will meet RNG Reborn in the next match. This time, RNG Reborn is on the left side, while Lucky is on the right side. RNG Reborn won their last match quite convincingly, although it almost seemed like they were slipping up at the end, with the opponents getting closer. Lucky had a similar situation, but locked in and broke its last plate instantly. And as with all other matches today, RNG Reborn has almost instantly broken half of the plates, gaining a massive lead. The question is whether they can hold on to it and transform it into a win without Lucky getting ahead. It's down to 2 plates against 6 in favor of RNG Reborn. Lucky takes a plate, but it's instantly traded by RNG Reborn, who is now down to its last plate. It's now only a single plate between these two competitors. It could really go to either competitor, depending on how lucky Lucky gets. Finally, RNG Reborn manages to secure the win. But that was much, much closer than it needed to be. They have somehow survived 3 lower bracket matches by almost losing in all of them. But this means that despite Lucky's efforts, they get knocked out, while RNG Reborn survives another match. The next match is the upper final between Critical and Dice. Critical had some trouble against Gambler in its first match, but has otherwise advanced without too much trouble, while Dice was down 5 plates against RNG Reborn in its previous match, but managed to win that. Critical has taken the first plate in this match, being traded by Dice after a few seconds. Critical has achieved guaranteed critical strikes, as both competitors take the second plate simultaneously. Dice has created a one-plate lead. Both competitors trade a plate. Dice has started to struggle a little bit, and Critical is taking full advantage of that by leveling the playing field. And now Critical has even taken the lead, and the match is nearing its end. Will Critical snipe the win from Dice? They certainly do, as they become the first one to secure a spot in the grand final. While Dice will have to do a match against RNG Reborn in the lower final to try for a rematch against Critical in the grand final. Even our lower final match will be a rematch, as these competitors met in the upper semifinal, with Dice coming out on top that time due to RNG Reborn choking near the end. RNG Reborn will have to prove that they can do this without choking for its chance to complete the lower bracket run from the second round and onwards. Let's dive into the match and see which of the competitors that will take third place and which one that'll face off against Critical in the grand final. RNG Reborn starts the match as normal by sprinting through half of the plates almost instantly, giving Dice no chance to ever take the lead. But is this enough, as this was exactly what happened last time these two met, and Dice won that time. It's 3 plates against 7 in favor of RNG Reborn. But Dice took 3 plates in the span of me saying that.
RNG Reborn took a plate, meaning that they have 2 plates remaining against Dice's 4 plates.
It's now 1 plate against 3 in favor of RNG Reborn. Dice took 2 fast ones, making the match even. Dice takes the last plate and wins the match, meaning that they advance to the grand final, where they'll face Critical again, while RNG Reborn get knocked out as our bronze medalist. Without further ado, let's jump into the grand final between Critical and Dice. Both of these competitors met in the upper final, where Critical won. This means that Critical will have an extra life if they lose, while Dice doesn't have that kind of safety net. Dice has taken the first 2 plates of the match, with Critical only breaking its first plate now. Dice takes another plate, which isn't traded by Critical. Critical has, however, reached guaranteed critical strikes, meaning that they'll gain damage on every hit from now on. Both competitors trade a plate. Critical takes a plate, with nothing being done in retaliation from Dice. Is this the start of Critical's comeback? Both competitors were on the same plate for a moment there. Critical has taken the lead for the first time this match, with Dice seemingly having lost all of their damage output. Critical becomes our champion for this tourney, meaning that Dice will become our silver medalist. And Critical takes the crown.